Hello everyone. So today we are going to see how to calculate amount using a record triggered flow. So let's begin. So here we are in the Salesforce org and we have an opportunity named as Arihant here. Under the estimated revenue details section, I have a cost breakup of my product which involves raw materials, conversion, printing, freight charges and also the credit involved. And the revenue proposed field here is a sum of all these five fields. The revenue awarded field here is the value that we have secured after the negotiation has been done. So our flow is going to populate the amount field with either proposed amount or the awarded amount. It is going to populate the awarded amount if the value is greater than 0 here, and if not, it's going to populate the proposed value. And the default condition is going to be if both are zeros, then the amount is going to be 0. So let's go ahead and create a flow. I'm going to say new flow. Let's go ahead and create a record triggered flow. So here when we configure a trigger, I'm going to select a record is created or updated and before the record is saved. So let me take a quick minute to differentiate between the record before save and after save. So let me take a quick minute here to explain the difference between both of these. So the before save flow is a trigger that is performed before an operation such as insert, update or delete. So this can be used in such a flow to check or change values before the data has been uploaded or inserted in the database. So this is much faster because each record does not get saved to the database again and again. In a save procedure, the before save updates in a flow are executed immediately prior to apex before trigger. On the other hand, the after save flow is executed after an operation such as insert update. You can use such a flow to update data in related objects or even send an email alert. The after save flow can help you to accomplish the same goal as a process builder. So let's go ahead. I'm going to select my object as opportunity. And say done. So here, before we start adding elements to this flow, we'll have to create resources to convert the null values that's been pulled from the opportunity before the record is being saved. So here, if you directly pull in a field, it might include null values. By default, some of the fields do not have a 0 value here. So this is a currency field, but it still does not include a 0 here. So when you use this field in a flow, it will convert into a null value, which will not let your flow run successfully. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new resource and select resource type as formula. I'm going to name this as printing charges. And the return type is going to be currency. And here in the formula, I'm going to use two functions. The first one is the if function and the second one is going to be isBlank function. So here I'm going to use the if function to check if that value is blank or not. If it is, then I'm replacing it with a 0. Else, I'm replacing it with the same value as in the field. So here I'm going to pull in the printing charges field. I'm going to say record and say printing charges and close this bracket for isBlank condition. So if true, I'm going to fill the value as 0 in that place. If not, I'm going to fill in the value with the same field value. So here we are going to use this formula to set 0 if its value is null in order to avoid null pointer exception. Done. Similarly, I'm going to go ahead and create 5 more resources for each of the fields that have been created. So now you see that I have created 4 other resources similarly for each field that we are using. And now I'm going to create a new resource to sum up all the 5 resources that we have just created. Now we have a sum of all of these in our formula. I'm going to just give done. So now let us assume that all of these fields have null values. So the total revenue field is also going to have null value. Now we wouldn't want the flow to be interrupted because there is a null value. So let's take this field, and just like we converted the null values of other fields into either 0 or the actual value, we are going to go ahead and create a new resource to make sure that we do not have null values in the flow. I'm going to again create a new resource. Data type as currency, and the same formula that we used while we created the other resources for each field. So now we do not have null values for this field, and similarly for the award field also we are going to create the same resource. Record, and let's say revenue awarded. Yep. Going to pull in the same field here again for the false. Oops. Yeah. So this is going to be a formula to convert the null values for the awarded field. So now that we have all our resources set, I'm going to go ahead and add an element to this flow now. Let's start by adding elements to this flow. I'm going to begin with the decision element. So this decision element is going to decide whether I have to populate the amount field with the award value, with the proposed value, or with the default value of 0. So I'm going to say amount decision as the label for this. And I'm going to label the first outcome as award value and the second as the proposed value. So here the first outcome should execute if the award value is greater than 0. So the award value field that we have created here, from the resources we are going to select this revenue awarded, and we are going to select greater than, say, 0. So now if this field is greater than 0, then this outcome is going to execute. Similarly for proposed, we are going to say if this field is greater than 0, we need another condition which says the awarded value equals to 0. So when both of these conditions are true, then the proposed value outcome will execute. So the award value says when the award is greater than 0, whereas the proposed value says it's greater than 0 and the award value equals 0. So now we have two decisions and one default outcome. For the award value here, I'm going to go ahead and add an assignment. The assignment is going to be populate with award value. So here, the variable that we are populating the value with is the amount, and that will be equal to the awarded value. This assignment is done, so let's say done. For the proposed value, we are going to go ahead and create an assignment where we say populate with proposed value. And I'm going to set the variable values here. Similarly, we're going to select the amount field and equal it with the proposed value that we have calculated here. Let's say done. And now our default outcome is going to be to populate the amount field with 0 if both proposed and awarded is 0. So populate with 0. I'm going to select the amount value. So I'm going to go ahead and select the amount field and equal it with 0. We have a decision element which decides if it has to populate with the award value, the proposed value, or the default value. So let's go ahead and save the flow. I'm going to name it calculating award. And I'm going to save this. Once it's saved, I'm going to go ahead and activate this. So now I'm going to go ahead and try our flow. I'm going to create a new opportunity. I'm going to select existing as the record type. I'm going to name this opportunity as Stark Industries. Fill in the other details like stage, the close date, so this is our box measurement. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill the estimated revenue details here. I'm going to say 12,500, maybe another 12,000. The printing charges as 5,000, freight charges another 2,000. Yep. So now we have all the values. I'm not going to give any value to this field, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now that our opportunity has been created, we have the amount populated here because there is only revenue proposed field that is being populated. So now if I go ahead and change this awarded value to be as 30,000 and save this, we should see the amount field being populated with 30,000. Amount field here is now populated with the value that is being secured by the company after the deal has been closed. So this is an example of how we can calculate amount using a record triggered flow. And with this, we come to an end of how to calculate amount using the record triggered flow. Thank you for watching.